everybody, and welcome to the coaster and ride overview video, which is one of my series of overview videos for the current DLC, the vintage DLC, which is actually released tomorrow for you guys. And you can download this via Steam, you can purchase this, and you can also win this basically. In the description below you will find a link to a giveaway where you can enter, and perhaps you have the best luck and you will win the code. So that would be cool. I'm giving it away only until the end of today. Or maybe let's say, it will be the end of today, so you guys will get the code early on tomorrow and right away download the DLC for you. But now let's go in, because this video is dedicated to the coasters and rides that have been included in this DLC. And I have to talk about one thing first. This is a review version of the game, so if there will be some glitches or something, that might be, or is I think it is fixed tomorrow in tomorrow's version. So there are a few things, we have already mentioned those, they are pretty much fixed right now, so it's fine. And just to mention this, I don't even know if you will see them, but they occurred whilst recording beforehand something. So it's not much actually, it's all fine, but I just wanted to mention that so you don't get a wrong impression of the game. Now you can see already the overview of what we have, and we are going to look at those in detail. I'm not going to make this artificially long, the video, but I thought it would be a nice thing to just, separate everything into one video, because otherwise you will have a video of 1 hour of me talking through the things, and I think it's way easier for you to click through one video where it is only about one topic. So let's start with the flat rides, and I think, and I have to say, big props to Frontier. Like, the flat rides in this update are amazing for the reason of their footprints. They are all having enormously great footprints, and by saying so, they are actually very small, which is amazing. You can see I've put them all in this gap here, so only to show you guys that this is really what you have to look at. They are small, they are not covered in useless, in inverted commas, it's not useless, but it's not covered in heavy theming, so that's really a very, very, very good thing. And let me just bring back the UI for a second, because I want to show you something at least a bit, and therefore we need to click a few things, and I want to show you something with the cursor, so it makes sense to bring that back at least. Yeah, but we are going to start with this baby over here, which is the Loop-da-Loop. Everybody knows it, it's amazing, and it's very small, which I love, because this ride is really a ride which is well known, and it is actually quite small, and it's also these kind of funfair rides which have to fit in the smallest of places, so that's actually a really good one. Obviously, as always, I'm not going too much into detail with it. You can recolor everything, you can rearrange the sequences, and you can make basically everything you can also do with all the other flat rides. It's as always beautifully designed. I really love like how this looks with the cables over here. It all looks a bit more old, not too hyper modern with all the hydraulics that we have in other ones, so they also paid attention to make this look a bit more raw and old, which is really cool. You can really imagine that this is something you can really easily pack together and bring somewhere else, so I really love this. Next up is that one, which wait, let's click on it. It's the Centrum, and the Centrum is one of the rides I've been on as the first rides ever in my life. So the first fun fairs in our hometown really had the Centrum, and once I saw that, it's just amazing. For those of you who don't know what this is, let me just put that on test for you guys. It is a ride, and I love that you can actually test the ride with all these dummies in here. So you go on it, you look for a space, and you can see you're not really sitting down, you're really leaning to the back. And because this is like centrifugal forces, is that even correct in English? I guess so. Which pushes you to the outside and pushes you away from the center. That gives you really nice kind of airtime feelings. You can then later on even raise your legs and arms, and you're just, just glued to the kind of seat, which is not really a seat, which is just something kind of foam in your back, so to make it not hurt in front of the iron stuff. But it's just so cool. I just love it. This is just a fun ride. I mean, I got really, like, I had a lot of problems with my stomach later on, but it's really cool. Yeah, just to show you this, I just also love how the animatronics stuff, even though the tires are not really moving. Oh, never mind. Oh no, those are the brake tires, I guess, right? I'm not quite sure. Anyways, I think these are the brake. Yeah, these are the brake tires. So it's basically rotated from its center, because it's called Centrum, right? Yeah, sure. So actually they are just there to kind of maintain the position of it. Are there also some others on top of it? No, it's not really. But anyways, this is just as usual, as I said, they're beautifully designed, and I just love it. That's such a great addition. And why did I even hit escape? Yeah, I just also like how simple that looks. And I even like that they don't have the fences we usually have. These are more like the really like funfair fences, which is really cool because they're really looking more like they're just put there because it's standing there just for a temporary time frame. So really amazing. Let's go on to the next one, which is the Round the World, a classic spinning wheel or Ferris wheel thing, and I just love it. It's also, again, like the other rides, a lot more simple. There's not too much. It's looking all a bit more thin and not that heavy. I just love it. I mean, oh, look at this. It's incredible. I just want to make a screenshot again because it's just so good. Anyways, I'm praising it too much already. Let's go on to the next one, which you have seen from various screenshots already. This is and also let's put this on test as well, which is the test flight, which is really nice. You have these little kind of airplanes going around, and it feels like this Frontier really has a love for airplanes. We have a lot of rides that are themed after airplanes. I especially like this one because those seem to be a bit like the seagull from Baloo. In the Captain Baloo comic. Is it even called Seagull? I guess it is, right? Oh, I love it. It really seemed a bit like the Seagull. Anyways, it's I just love it. It's more like a child ride or something, and it would actually perfectly fit. Well, it's completely going around one time, but it would perfectly fit also in a smaller area. But it's quite intense though, so it's okay, I guess, so for kids area. But again, like if you look at the footprint again, and I am just going to make in and it doesn't really matter if I put in the exit or not, but I just like how this also is a little more thin, has not that heavy kind of mechanics going on in the middle, and maybe it's not too good for kids actually if I look a bit closer to it now. Jeez, they're heavily rotating. Oh god, I would get so nauseous in these rides. God, no. I want hard and fast coasters, but not this kind of stuff. That's not mine. But I still love the implementation. It's just amazing. And then we have a last one, which I was a bit kind of happy to have. I was expecting something completely else, to be honest, but that is the Hurricane, which is, I guess, also a vintage ride. It's kind of a twister in a twister, which is really cool. I also love the look of it because again, I mean, I keep repeating myself, but these are all themed a bit more to vintage styled rides, and I have to say, without being at a vintage DLC and just like a funfair DLC or carnival DLC, that's just so cool. It just makes so much sense to have this also in the game, and this shows really the power of a modern 3D coaster tycoon game, or a theme park tycoon game, because that's something which wasn't transported that well in the old ones, because you couldn't really distinguish between if it is good or not. I mean, yeah, textures have been changed, but I like really the look of those new implementations of these new flat rides, because they really look from an old theme park. And I could imagine going back to Koali Beach and exchange all the 3 flat rides we have in there with those ones, and it would initially add a really nice touch to it. But yeah, that's enough about the flat rides. Let's go on to the coasters, and this one is and by the way, I have just a filter on because I like the filter a bit more, but we can also disable the filter at the end, so you guys have a look towards these rides without the filter. I think that's also a good one to show it to you at the end without the filter. This is a new kind of wooden coaster. I guess it's more like the actual coaster track is what differs, but we also get a new car, which is also nice, or a train. And I guess this should be an Intermin version. If I'm not completely wrong, this is, at least in terms of the car, this should be an Intermin version of the car, which I think also with the styling of it, and look like how the whoops, that was a bit like how the textures are really worn and stuff. I just really like this. Now let's also have a ride on this one. Let's jump in the car. I'm going to... Should we keep into a seat like that? I guess we just go into... Let us just, we stay in seat position, even though I don't really like to film from seat position, but it's just amazing. Oh god, I love it. I just love the filter. I also wanted to show it again, like I also mentioned that in all the other videos, but the filter doesn't really affect the performance, which is amazing, because we were fearing that it would, but it doesn't. Let me just speed up until we are on top of it. It's just, we don't need to do that slow motion, because it's not worth it. So yeah, now let's, I just love the tech. Look at the texture, guys. That's good to be in this position, not in the front camera position. That's a way better position. Now, like I really like how this layout is really paying respect to the older kind of wooden coasters, not too crazy. Yeah, it's just, it could be also an intermin version, also in terms of how the layout is. I guess that would be intermin at least a bit. I'm not, I'm still not an expert, but that's just from my research what I made. It's hard to tell. For me at least, and people out there will pretty much go, oh, you're talking shit now, but I don't care, it's what I found out. So, guys, for those of you who know it for sure, please let me know what this kind of version is, but I'm quite sure this should be an intermin one. But as always, you can exchange the trains via the customization options. You can go with the Iron Fury, you can go with the Gnarder, which is the GCI one, you can go with that one, which is the RMC version, and we have the Monster, which is again another intermin, I guess. And obviously the new one, which is called, like the coaster itself, the Zephyrus. Zephyrus? I don't know. And now we are going to my favorite addition to this DLC. I keep it short. I'm a huge fan of a broken down twist and tussle. I'm a huge fan of this new coaster. This coaster is called, let me just see that because that's the name of the blueprint. We have to go into custom wooden coasters, and this is the wooden bobsled. Okay, it's only called wooden bobsled, which is cool because it is the wooden bobsled. Can we just fix that? Do we have a mechanic over here? And let me just put down a mechanic real quick because reasons. With the mechanic, let me just plop him down and speed up the game so we can take a ride later on. But I just, let's take the time, and I'm just disabling the HUD again because it makes sense to show it to you in full glory. I can't talk. If you guys remember what I did before the game was full released, I made the Seasons Park and I built a bobsled coaster myself. Like, I tried to make that somehow with the scenery once we didn't even have the function to actually get intersections or intersect pieces with the coaster track and stuff, so it was nearly impossible. But if I've made a wish for a coaster other than the Schwarzkopf looping, which I'm still missing in the game, but this one would it be? And oh god, I am losing my words over it. By the looks of it, it looks amazing. Like, the design of it is amazing. Whoops, I should definitely stop making this so quick now. This coaster station, by the way, is not made by me. It's actually from the blueprint, which I think is one of the by far best ones they've ever made for the game. But yeah, you see I'm going confused because my love for this one is just too big. This simple yet elegant yet a beautiful ride is just amazing. I mean, it's not crazy. You don't have the loops. You don't have kind of crazy airtime because it would be flying away. But it's just, I don't know. It's such a classic. It's I've been on that the first time in Europa Park, which is not, I guess it's not the wood version of this. Is this a wood version? I don't really remember correctly, but a bobsled coaster in general. And I'm going to jump in right now into the coaster. We're going to ride this from guest position again. Wait, what did I just do? So there we go. And I'm going to talk you through this one because I just love it. Like, it's been released into the pipe, so to say, the wooden pipe, and then depending on the speed you're going higher or lower in the pipe and using it really, and you get this nice little left right effect. Like, oh, look at this, like you're coming from the left side, it's going down again, you can really feel the gravity at work, and I think that's maybe what makes it so special for me. I have to admit that it looks a bit weird out of this position somehow. Like, I wasn't sure if this is procedurally generated, how the train behaves, because it's somehow was sometimes a bit like if it was going into the corners on a rail or something, which it shouldn't be because it isn't. But then I looked a bit closer from the outside, I have to say it is somewhat realistic. The thing is the car is static. What you can't see is that the wheels down there, they are moving, and so that's what makes it feel a bit strange out of the POV position. But from the movement of the rails and the mechanics below the coaster, this is really nice, and I'm going to show that to you later. Wow, that was really high, but you can really see it's so great. Like, you can't really see much from this position, I have to admit, but I want to ride this from this position to really give you the feeling of how the train shakes to the left and to the right, and yeah, it's just super cool. And then you're going into this kind of brake section, which is also amazing because that's something really different. You won't see that often, because yeah, and that's the point where I wanted to go. You don't see it that often, and honestly, there is something about a theme park which you have to keep in mind. A theme park always looks different, always. Like, there's no theme park, maybe except Six Flags and Disney, that do want to be somehow the same, but still they look very different. And then at some point in the game, you have the problem that you actually you're lacking something that really would add to it. And this coaster adds a lot to the game because it adds a complete new skyline. This is incredible. It is really nice. We finally have something I can't wait to see blueprints people come up with. It's ridiculous because that will change. It will not change too much, but you can make terrain conforming bobsleds. You can use the bobsled actually to make. Well, no, I'm not going to talk too much about this because I will show it to you later on. You can do crazy stuff with the pipeworks. It's just. I can't. It's so great. It's so great. It adds so much to the game. I have to honestly say it adds so much. And obviously, yes, you can recolor this everything, and you can have pink wood. Why not? I mean, who doesn't want to have pink wood? That looks awful. Can I just redo it? Let me just redo this. Yeah, there we go. Oh, damn it. I just can't look at pink wood all the time. So, one last thing which I promised you is to deactivate the filter for a second. Because you should see that also from the normal perspective. There we go. And wow, that looks even like oversaturated to me at the moment. I have to get used to it again. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. So that's about the vintage kind of rides and the coaster. And just look at it. We have to look to it from the outside again. Just pause the game. Where is the train actually? Let's search it. Oh, there we go. That's the train. Let me just. There we go. Look at this. I mean, even how the guests are behaving in here. Just look how she's pushed to the outside, which is that realistic? Yeah, it is. Like the train wants to move. But you can see already if I go here. Oops. There we go. There we have the tires, and that's where the movement came from, which I was talking about. So if we look now how it behaves into this corner, let's look at it. There we go. See, it looks a bit wobbly, wonky, I don't know what I wanted to say, but it does make sense if you look at the positioning of the cars. That's just totally fine. It really is influenced by the gravity, and it's just, oh damn it, I so desperately want to ride a coaster like that right now. Holy shit. But guys, that's about it. This was the ride and flat ride overview. Hope you enjoyed that. It's rather short, but better have it in short than have a 1 hour video talking about everything. If you want to see a video about custom supports, the free DLC stuff, or the scenery items in the update, just click the videos at the end of this YouTube video at the cards, or just click into the description down below. If you want to enter the giveaway, just wait a few seconds to my instructions at the end of the video, and see you in the next one. So, bye bye guys. Alright guys, this is it for this episode, and as always I would like to remind you that there is a DLC giveaway going on in the description below, so make sure to go there and enter the terms, and so you will see if you're the lucky one to win a DLC code for the vintage DLC. But yeah, that's it for now, and as always I would highly recommend to give this video a like if you enjoyed the video, and also make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. But now I don't have anything else to add than say goodbye and enjoy your day, guys. See you in the next one, and bye bye.